Welcome to our first ever candidate interviews for This is Pagosa Government Channel. And today we have Veronica Medina running for Archuleta County Commissioner District 3, correct?
Correct.
All right. Got something right here finally. All right. So Veronica, we're just going to have a little chat here, find out what you're about, who you are, and what you hope to see for Archuleta County if you were to be elected into this position. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of your background.
Okay.
Who are you and how'd you end up here in Archuleta County?
So, Veronica Medina, and I've been in Pagosa for about 8 years. We originally moved here because to take care of my parents. My baby brother passed away unexpectedly and he was about 32, and it really took a toll on my mom. And I didn't realize how big of a toll until we came out to visit her, because she sounded great on the phone. She, definitely tricked me over the phone. And then when I saw her, I definitely knew that she was not doing well. And so at that time, I told my husband, I can't lose my mom. We need to move to Pagosa. And we've loved Pagosa because we've come here on summer vacations, family holidays, family reunions. Because my papa, who is my stepdad, he was born and raised here. Okay. And so as long as my mom has been married with him, we've come to Pagosa for holidays and whatnot. And our kids, we have 5 boys, and so our boys would come and spend the summer with their grandparents, or we'd have a long summer vacation. So we spent a ton of time here. And when we were here, I kind of blame my mom for being involved in politics and volunteering and stuff, because my mom was activities director at Pine Ridge. Okay. And so when we would come, we would go and help her with activities at Pine Ridge. So my boys would be playing checkers with the blind, residents and helping them walk around, read books to them. So we always did fun stuff and volunteered in the community even then. And I just love Pagosa. So it wasn't a hard decision to say we're moving to Pagosa from Reno, Nevada. I mean, come on, so Pagosa's home.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
8 years.
8 years. That's a
full
lot
time
longer than me.
Yeah, full time. Yeah.
Well, good. So, what caused you to want to run for Archuleta County Commissioner?
This is the second time that I ran, that I'm running, I should say. The first time, the reason I got involved and wanted to run is because I have a master's degree in business, and I was volunteering and very active in the community where I moved from. And so when I moved here and I saw some of the things that were happening or not happening, and some decisions that were being made or not made, I just thought, I know we could do better, and I know that I could be a positive part of that. And so I thought, I'm gonna do it. And so when I ran last time, that's when Michael Whiting, his term, he had term limited out. So there was nobody running at that time. And then so I threw my hat in. I thought, I can do this. And then the incumbent then he ran, and I really didn't know what I was doing. I'd not ran for office, and so I was like, I missed the vote. I missed the ballot by 2 votes that time around. Yeah. And so I learned a lot, and I just said, I believe that there is a higher being. I believe in God, and I thought, it just wasn't my time, but I'm going to stay involved. And I did. I've been to the county commissioner meetings for the last 3.5 years. I go to town council. I attend tourism. I attend all of those meetings because what I see, and you probably see it too, because I know you attend some of those meetings, that there's just no communication, collaboration, and so the more I see that, the more I think, gosh, I know we could do this, and I think that would be a good outcome. And that's why I just want to make Pagosa, I shouldn't say make, I know we can do better. I know there's opportunities out there that we're missing. I know that there's grant money. There's so many things. I used to be a former grant writer, and I just see missed opportunities, and not so much because there's not someone to do it. Maybe they just don't know that path. I'm not sure. Gotcha. But I see there's lots of opportunity, and I know I could help.
Since you mentioned missed opportunities, what do you think is one of the biggest missed opportunities that the county has had? And what does that look like to you if you were to step in and be able to make that opportunity happen?
I think the biggest missed opportunity is really connecting with the community, with stakeholders in the community, and other government agencies. And when I say connect, I mean have that constant dialogue, that communication, that collaboration. I've attended many town council meetings where they say, well, where are the county commissioners? Why aren't they here? We want to have this conversation. And, sometimes for whatever reason, they're not there. But I feel like when you hear that, there's something more behind that. There needs to be that person there to have that conversation. And I hear them, town council say, well, we're going to do a joint meeting and we're going to try to make it happen for this time. Again, I think there's so much effort trying to get everybody together. I think it needs to be more, this is something that we should just be doing. Just be involved with each other and really make a difference, because I think collaborating and communicating consistently and on a regular basis, I think that it would make a huge difference.
Okay. One of the interesting things to me about this area, and you're somewhat of a newcomer, I guess. I mean, being here 8 years, I'm definitely a newcomer. Been here a year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, just over a year now.
Okay.
Absolutely love it here, of course, but there seems to be some tension between a lot of the lawn timers, people who grew up here, and then those who, like me, have decided to move here to better their life, have the quality of life the mountains offer here, but they're also bringing some of their ideas from where they came from: Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada. How would you kind of be able to bridge that with the lawn timers and then the newcomers, and be able to kind of help merge all of our thoughts, ideas, and kind of get along better, it seems like to me.
Well, I think, again, it's to that communication and collaboration. I've been very fortunate because my papa was born and raised here. I have that connection with that community, but it's not just that community. I really make an effort to speak to all of Pagosa, all of Archuleta County, and really reach out not only from the ranchers but to the long timers here, and just have that conversation. Something that I see that we no longer have is that cultural authentic, experience. When we used to come for vacation, there used to be music down at the park downtown. It could be Hispanic music, country music, whatever, but people from the community would go down there, bring their own chair, sit around, listen to music, talk with each other, and then kids were over there playing at the park, and it was just that community. It was just a great feeling, and we don't have that anymore. There's nothing that really anchors us to one spot that all of us can come together, whether you're new, old, been here for a hot minute. There's no activities like that. And I think that has really went by the wayside. And I think that's been to our detriment, because we don't have that ability to interact.
Okay. Let's jump up into some of the more hot topics now.
You're no fun.
Workforce housing's huge.
Yes.
As a realtor, you obviously know just how much prices have gone up the past couple of years. What's your thoughts on our housing situation here in Archuleta County?
So this is not a new thing for Archuleta County. When I first moved here 8 years ago, I was the HR manager for the Springs Resort. And when I was there, not only was it hard to find people that wanted to work, yes, it was hard to find housing even then. I think COVID just made it... it really has shown the light on it that there is a big problem, because more people were moving here because they could work remotely, go to school remotely. So hence, that's why everything went up, right? So housing overall is an issue. I don't like the labels, because we just need housing. Yes, we need it for our workforce. Yes, we need it for lots of other just people just moving here, not necessarily retirees, whatever. But I don't think the answer is low income housing or affordable housing, any housing that is subsidized by the government, because I've talked directly with Clifford Lucero, who has the what is that called? Across from Town Hall.
Oh,
Mountain Rose, or
yeah,
okay,
I know it, yeah.
So those are affordable housing.
Mm-hmm.
So they are subsidized by government money. So nobody's talking about this, and I feel comfortable in saying this because I verified the information. I always say trust but verify, and I verified the information, and I talked to Clifford Lucero directly, and I said, is it true that 60% of the applicants have been denied for that housing? He said, yes, it's true. And some of it is because it's not our locals. I don't know why our locals are not applying. The majority of them are not. It is some trust fund babies is what he said.
Really?
He said there are some people that are applying for that housing that have homes in other states. And then, of course, there are some that are applying that may have a felony. And a felony could be a DUI, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like this big criminal, but if you have any type of a felony, you don't qualify. So that really restricts. We don't need that kind of house. We just need housing. Mm-hmm. So, and I think there's a lot of missed opportunities with that, because I've spoken to local builders, and as much as it's touted at town council that local builders have been asked, that's not what I'm hearing directly from them, that they have not been asked to be part of the solution in fixing the housing problem that we have. And there's a lot of builders that are willing to step up and do whatever needs to be done. Mm-hmm. And granted, they would definitely put those deed restrictions so they would not be short-term rentals. It would be for long-term rentals, and pricing would be reasonable. It wouldn't be, just at the top of the market. It just wouldn't be. But again, it's that collaboration and really having those true conversations with community stakeholders that want to help fix the problem.
Okay. Since you mentioned short-term rentals, let's go there. Those are certainly another hot topic here. What are your thoughts on short-term rentals? I know there's a lot of citizens that are against it, but then there's quite a few that are for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's short-term rentals. Yes, it's a hot topic, and I would say, yes, we need to do something, right? We need to do something. And I think where we could start is with the problem children of short-term rentals. There's certain short-term rentals that there's always issues. Whether there's too many people there's always partying or loud noises, whether that's music or whatever. I think that's where we should start, is with the problem short-term rentals, and give a little bit more, I guess, consequences for the property managers, because if the town or the county say, okay, we're going to fine you, or we're going to make you pay this, the owners don't really care, because not that they don't care, they'll just pass it on to the next person, right? Mm-hmm. So, but we say here, the regulation says, if you have a short-term rental here and you don't live here, you have to have a property manager that can be the contact person, the go-to. Right. So the property manager, I feel, should be held accountable. If there's a problem and they're not reacting to that problem and hearing the concerns, they should be fined. And it's not like they can pass that cost on to the owner. It would be their responsibility. Then maybe we could get rid of some of the issues that we have, because a lot of times it's what I'm hearing from the constituents of the community is that they're riding their ATVs up and down the street, going really fast, or loud music, or too many people in the house, those type of things. And I think that could be easily fixed if the property management company would step up. And I know I'm probably going to get some flack on that. I worked for a company that managed short-term rentals. I thought they did a great job, but I really didn't have anything to do with it, because I was just an agent in the office. I wasn't the property manager. But I think that's one of the areas that we could start on. There's been a lot of talk about doing caps. I personally feel like the town did, array of things, and I think they're going to really feel the consequences of that. I don't feel like the county should go that extreme. Can some things be done differently? Absolutely. And I think that it'll have a good outcome. I just think we should start with baby steps and really address the issues. And then we can start looking at how many short-term rentals do we have on this one street? Because I've heard that a lot. On one street, you only have one long-term person and everybody else on the street is short-term rental. And I can see where that makes it not as the quality of life that they may want. But I really believe in personal property rights. I believe people should be able to do, to an extent, what they want. But when it harms or starts to encumber other people's happiness with their own property, I think we need to look at that and make some adjustments.
Okay. I know a lot of folks have complained, look, this is a commercial business within the neighborhood, right? They say it's commercial. Tax them as they're commercial. Do you view that to be the case? Is this a commercial business, these STR owners?
I've heard that a lot, and I don't know. I don't think so personally. I don't view it as a commercial business. I don't. A lot of us run our own business out of our homes. I mean, a lot of realtors run their commercial business out of their home. There are barbershops that run their business out of their home. So when you start looking at that, when you say, okay, we're going to make short-term rentals, okay, what about all those other businesses? How do you do that equitably? I don't really like the word fair because life isn't fair. What's fair, but you got to look at what makes the most sense. I think what we could do is, again, start with the problem children, if you will, and then go from there. And I think I really feel like a lot of this is going to fix itself in some way because of how the market is starting to go. It's slowed down. People are not buying it as quickly. A lot of people are already hesitant because they have heard about short-term rental restrictions possibly in the county. And so I really feel like it's going to start to slow down and fix itself. We as a community, there are still some steps that we need to do, but I think it's going to work out.
Okay. You mentioned possibly finding those property management companies and holding them accountable. What kind of fines are you thinking in your mind? What kind of fine, how much money, if you could tell us right here, would cause them to really step up to the plate and solve some of these solutions?
Well, I think I haven't really thought about like a dollar amount, but even if you said, hey, property management company, we've received 3 complaints on this property, you need to do something, kind of like the same thing you do with a tenant. You give them a warning, hey, this is what's happening. And so to make them aware of what they need to do to be more proactive, even if it's like, okay, if you're not managing these properties correctly, maybe you don't get to manage properties. I think that's a significant financial hit. But again, when you talk about dollar amount, it's hard to say because most companies really, it's 20% of whatever the rental is for that night or, so, I think that would just be something that we could just talk more about. I haven't really put a number. I was just trying to think of what's part of the steps that we could start to take and look at, and even get the property management companies involved in saying, hey, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you have problem short-term rentals within the properties that you manage? And if you do, what do you think are some of the solutions? Again, really collaborating and having those conversations, because when you have somebody that sits in an office that really maybe doesn't know how that all works, it's easy to say, oh, fine them $500 a day, or, and I don't think that's the right way. I think, again, we need to start talking and collaborating. Part of why they increased the short-term rental fee was so they could have more oversight, more, I guess, checking of the short-term rentals. And I don't know if that's happened. I don't know really what the outcome of that extra money, where that's went, or
Yeah.
how they've used it. But again, I think that's part of a solution that we could look at.
Okay. This all kind of plays into the growth of the area.
Yeah.
What are your overall views on growth for Archuleta County? How do we manage, control that growth? How big do you see this county getting?
Well, change is inevitable, and we are going to grow. But I think up to this point, I don't know if there's been really a plan on what that growth looks like. And that's something that when I am in office, I would like to work with the other county commissioners and let's come up with a plan about our infrastructure and what it is that we can handle. Because right now, we can't really handle much more growth the way we sit. We're not talking about water. We finally started talking about our landfill and, some proactive things that are happening there with the recycling option that we're going to start to do, which I think is fabulous. We need to really look at our infrastructure and see what we need to do there before we can really talk about how big we're going to get, what that looks like, because we need to plan for that. We should have a 5, 10, 20-year plan on what that growth looks like and in what areas. Just the willy-nilly approving, and I say willy-nilly, and I'm sure that, it's not willy-nilly, but just approving people to build here and there without, again, looking at our infrastructure like water, our sewer system, all of those things, our power grid. I mean, are we really prepared for some of this that's coming? We really need to look at us first and talk about that. And part of that infrastructure is our schools, the shape that they're in, that I think we talk a lot about our roads. We talk a lot about our infrastructure, and the infrastructure should include our schools and our children and what they're going through, because some of this growth that is happening, you're not hearing about it, but there's a huge drug problem in our community, and there's drugs in the schools. And I had a constituent call me and talk to me and really upset about that because it's not being talked about. It's not in the paper. It's not, it's nowhere. A kid overdosed last week at the high school. And these are things that are not being talked about, and they're crucial to our community. That is part of our growth and it's part of our infrastructure, and we need to do better.
Okay. As we're talking about infrastructure here, of course, that costs money. Mm-hmm. How are we going to get the money to improve our infrastructure?
Well, right now there is a lot of I sat on a legislative committee and we talked about bills that came, up in front of the legislature, and we responded to some of them. We said, yes, we like it, or no, we don't, and this is why. So there's a lot of bills that were passed. And they say there's a lot of one-time money. This is like a huge opportunity that we have not had in a very long time. For a rural community, there's going to be a lot of money. And again, going back to those grant opportunities, I've already started talking to the CDC, Emily, who is the head of that, and talking about what that really, how that's going to help us and what that means. And she said, yes, we need to start talking about that. And as a region, we need to come together. So La Plata, us, and even like not Dulce, this region anyway, Southwest Colorado, and talk about who needs what, and so that we can go after all that money together so that we have a bigger success rate of receiving it. So there is that money. It wouldn't just have to come from the taxpayers. There's a lot like millions of dollars to come to rural counties for infrastructure, roads, water, schools. I mean, just even for elderly housing, and overall housing. So it's going to be really good. But again, we need to be prepared, and we need to start having these conversations now, because that money goes to the state and then it goes to the region, and that's how it's going to be doled out. So we need to start talking about this now and planning.
Okay. I believe it was Ronnie who mentioned in one of the county meetings maybe having to raise the sales tax, to help kind of contribute to all this. Is that something you would support? Raising taxes at all, sales tax, property taxes, anything like that?
So I did have a conversation with the town, and that is something that they're looking to do and collaborate with the county commissioners. I think any increase in sales tax, I think it has to be, again, communicated very well on, what it's for and what it's going to and how much it's going to be and how long it'll last. Because people overall, I feel like they'll be okay with it if they know what it's going to go for. What is it for? Some people think that a lot of the money that we currently have has been, just evaporated somewhere, and we don't know where it has went. So I think there needs to be a little bit more accountability on the funds that we do have, looking at the budget and seeing, where the areas that they've spent the money, and some departments that haven't stuck to their budget. That's an area of concern. So when you talk about that increase, I think those type of questions are going to happen. Well, where is all this other money? So I think it's just communicating and educating and letting them know how it's going to be spent.
Okay. To you, what's the most important issues Archuleta County is facing right now?
Most important. There's a few. I mean, as I talk to the community, some of the people get very passionate, to the point of being angry, and it's over roads. It's over the roads, and because people have experienced, not only do they have to drive home on these roads and, it causes damage to their vehicles, and then they have to put money into their vehicle because they hit a big pothole, and, it's totally, then now they need a new alignment on their car or something, right? So roads is a big issue. And again, I think that there are opportunities for us to receive grant money and other funds from the state that we can get these roads fixed. The other thing I think is we really need to focus on our children of the community. They're our future leaders. That they are going to be the ones that run this country, this county, so I think we need to look at them and focus more on them. And because the schools are not in great condition. I don't know if you've been in them. I had not, and then I have, and I don't have children in school. So it definitely was an eye-opener, but again, collaborating with the town and really working on those issues. But I think definitely the roads and our infrastructure, and that includes water, the schools for the children. I think those would be the biggest ones.
Okay. Well, cool. All right. So this is your chance. Look at the camera. Tell the citizens out there, why should they vote for Veronica Medina?
So, citizens of Archuleta County, I would hope that you would vote for me because I am somebody that has been here in Pagosa Springs, Archuleta County for many years, more than just 8 years. Yes, I've been here 8 years living full time, but this has always been home to me. And I care about the community. That's why I got involved, because I'm definitely not a politician, but I just care about our community, and I see so many areas where we can do more and we can do better. And in a lot of my advertisements that I say, I talk about change, and I don't mean change like change and make us into something that we're not. I think we still need to be Pagosa, Archuleta County, the beautiful Colorado mountains around us, the great fresh air, the reason why we're all here and want to come here, whether to live or to visit. I want to make it a better place. I want to give the quality of life back to the citizens of Archuleta County. I think we really need to diversify our economy and not focus so much on tourism. The tourists will come. They will. And we need to diversify our economy and really get it back to the citizens that have lived here, that want to live here, and make it more. There are so many opportunities, and there are local businesses that want to do more, but Unfortunately, Archuleta County and the town are not business friendly, and I have gotten that directly from business owners, people that want to do more, expand, or even do some light manufacturing, and they hit the wall. So I want to be able to open those doors and create opportunities not only for those local business owners but also for the people of this community, and that will improve the quality of life and really give us something to look forward to, because again, I don't think that we need to look to others to provide the things that we need here in this community. I think we can do it locally, and I know we can do it better.
Another question, since you brought that up, how do we diversify the economy here and not rely so much on tourism? Like, what are some concrete steps you think we could take?
So again, being more business friendly. When I first came here, tourism wasn't the biggest and hottest thing here. It was, they called my papa Hollywood, and Holly like Haul wood, because that's what he did. He sold wood. Many of summers, all of us would go and we'd cut down, trees and chop the wood. And we at that time did not have the automatic wood splitter. It was all with an axe. So we have the forest here. We need to do more with our forest health. That's another big issue I would say that we have. And there's a lot of standing dead. I think there are some opportunities there. I've talked to some local people that have ideas that can not only improve the health of our forest, but also create an industry of light manufacturing here in our community. So that's one thing that I know, and really get back to our agricultural. And there are a few ranchers left, but I think we can do more for them and help grow ranching again and make it profitable. And because it's not a negative. It's definitely not a negative. So those are the two areas. And again, there is grant money, there is federal funding coming down the pipeline for those things. And we just need to be ready, and we need to have a plan. And not that I have all the answers, but I have talked to enough of our community that there are very smart people in our community, and they want to help and they want to be a part of this. And I think we just need to start planning and doing that now.
Okay, awesome. Well, Veronica, thank you so much for coming and joining us here and just doing this. To those out here, it takes a lot of guts to run for office.
Yes, it does.
There's a lot of people out there that are just willing to beat you down, just indeed, because of their negative mentality. So I appreciate anyone willing to put themselves out there in front of the public like this and try to serve this community, serve this area. So thank you so much for showing up, for having a positive attitude, and so I appreciate it. And
my pleasure.
My
pleasure. And Archuleta County, again, ballots will be going out next week, and ballots have to be turned in by June 28th. So vote Veronica Medina for County Commissioner. And if you have any questions or concerns or want to reach out to me, my number is 970-582-0066. I would love the opportunity to talk to you and answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you heard it. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you're looking to move to this magical town and need to buy or sell a home, I'd love to help guide you. And if you're a local business that would like to collaborate to make cool content, contact me. Cheers, Pagosa.